Insight 110. Continuous sexual distraction leads to a consciousness that is distracted from the self. Not expressing and not being your true self leads to dissatisfaction. This displeasure might lead you temporarily to seek quick satisfaction in sexual pleasure, since the pleasure that comes from the expression of your true self seems very far from being achieved anytime soon. So basically, when a person is distracted sexually, when they're focused, they have intense focus on sex, and this has been going on for some time, you know. And they feel that they're against themselves. They don't feel like themselves. You know, they feel like to head back and get to and reach to get to their true self again, to their true natural way of being themselves. They see this road as a very long road, far distant road. So because of this, they become disheartened. They become depressed. They lose motivation because they see it as a long process to get to their true self, of being who they really are. And so because of this, they don't feel good. You know, being yourself, you feel good if you're yourself, you know. You feel great, you know, you're yourself. But, and there's a pleasure with that. But when you're not being yourself, there is displeasure, you know, there's a dis-ease, there's a depression, there's you know, not being yourself is, you know, very, very, a very negative experience. And so, and because you're in a state of displeasure, and you see it far distant time-wise, for you to be yourself and experience pleasure naturally, you might give in to behaving sexually just to experience some pleasure in your life, here and now. See, you get it? Good. So you need to be conscious of this and be aware when you're doing this, why you're doing this. You know, sometimes you're getting involved in self-pleasure or whatever else pleasure-wise because you feel so far away from achieving being yourself, and that's okay. You know, just be aware of it. Okay, we're on Insight 110. Continuous sexual distraction leads to a consciousness that is distracted from the self, from yourself. Not expressing and not being your true self leads to dissatisfaction. This displeasure might lead you temporarily to seek quick satisfaction in sexual pleasure, since the pleasure that comes from the expression of your true self seems very far from being achieved anytime soon. So, if you're involved in sexual self-pleasure or just going after sex a lot, you're thinking about sex a lot, you know, and it's bugging the hell out of you. It's taking, you know, your consciousness, it's robbing you of your normal state of being. It's allowing your consciousness to be, it's grabbing onto your consciousness and focusing on it, and it's so much that it takes you away from the normal activities that you would do. Your consciousness normally would be playing and doing this and doing that, all kinds of stuff, and being this would allow you to express yourself and be yourself. But because this has been gripping your mind for such a long time, quite strongly, it has been taking you away from you being you. You being you, when you are you and you get to express yourself, you quite naturally feel happy and joyous. Now, you have been robbed of your happiness, your normal sense of happiness, because you're focused on this sexual garbage, you know, sexual misinformation, manipulation, and all this stuff. Okay, so now you're in a state of misery because you do not only you do not feel yourself, you do not feel happy, joyous. You're not yourself. You're not being yourself. You're focused on this. So, and it takes a long time. You seem far, far away from being yourself to achieve coming back to being yourself. And so you're left in a state of displeasure, not happiness. You're just feeling miserable. And just so you could feel a little pleasure in life, you may go into self-pleasure again just to feel happiness, some sort of pleasure, some sort of happiness. So you need to recognize sometimes you do that. You get into self-pleasure for that, because getting back to your true self might seem like a far, far off thing. You might have been stuck in this for years and years, so there you go. So you go for instant pleasure because getting back to your true self seems like such a far task.